Welcome back to the lecture series on Introduction to AWS. As part of this session, we will be discussing on EMR serverless when we are going to use this EMR serverless through the console. So, how we are going to depict is we will be taking an EMR serverless application and we are going to demonstrate what are the steps which are going to be required when you are working with console with EMR serverless. To get started, we have segregated these things into 4 steps how we can work with our EMR serverless from the console. First step is to create an application, serverless application. Then once the application is created, that means your environment is ready, your runtime environment is ready or else framework is ready. Then you need to submit a job according to the framework which you had created. Then you can work with the progress, how the job is being running or the status can be known. And the last step is cleanup. When you finish your job, then how to clean up the things. Automatically it happens within 15 minutes, but we can also manually clean up the things. Let us see. Coming to the first step, how to create an EMR serverless application. First thing, you need to log in into your AWS management console. Once you had logged into your AWS management console, then search for Amazon EMR. Once you search for Amazon EMR, it is been displayed, just click on it, click on that particular service. On the left pane itself, you will be shown with EMR serverless. Just click on EMR serverless, it will land you on the serverless page. Once you are on the serverless page, if you had already created an application priorly, then you can select the management, you can manage your applications by navigating to your EMR Studio, because if you have done it once, then they are stored in your EMR Studio. Directly you can get into your EMR Studio and you can manage the things. But if you are getting into your serverless application for the first time, then you need to create it one by clicking on get started. You have to create your EMR Studio by clicking on get started. Once you click on get started, then you can create and launch your studio. While you are going to launch your studio, then you need to enter the name for the studio. Type means which particular framework or open source tool or application you are going to use, such as Spark or Hive, that you need to select, that is set to be the type, and which particular release version. These are the 3 things which you have to mention: name, type and release version for your application. Once you had mentioned those things, then it will be asking you whether you are going to execute a badge oriented job or a interactive jobs, just like real time jobs. If you are going with badge oriented jobs, then you need to select default settings for badge jobs only. If it is an interactive job, then you need to select default settings for interactive workloads. And by the way, if you are selecting interactive workloads, then you can execute badge oriented jobs also on top of these interactive. This is a feature which has been provisioned. Then at the end, just click on create application for your first application. So these are the 5 steps in order to create an EMR serverless application. Then moving into the second step, how to submit a job. To submit a job, first you need to upload your script. Just like here I had taken an example of word count. What does this word count will do? It will prompt how many times a particular word is repeated in a document, or else frequency of words in a particular document is said to be your word count example. We need to, here I had assumed word count, but you can go with any example, and you need to upload the script to the S3 bucket. Script needs to be uploaded to the S3 bucket. So, to copy that, this is the command AWS S3 is the prefix, AWS is the prefix, and which service you are going to use S3, what you are going to perform on S3, you are going to copy CP from certain source location, this is going to be local machines location, to my S3. It is not that you have to maintain your script on the local only, you can maintain that script on AWS also or any other location from where APIs are available, from one AWS location to another AWS S3 location or bucket, from one bucket to another bucket. You need to first copy the script. Secondly, what you have to do after completing your step 1, then you need to move to the application details page in EMR Studio. In the applications EMR page, leave all the parameters by default and click on submit the job. Once you had submitted the job, what happens over here is, in the process of completing the job, when you are going to submit, then what are the parameters, just like what is going to be your name of the job which is been running, you need to mention the name, you need to select the environment, that is runtime role. Runtime role is nothing but the roles which you are going to create in IAM. When you are going to work with your this particular job, then we are talking with S3, then that S3 role needs to be mentioned. Not only that, where this script is been located, such as in our previous slide we had loaded it into destination location, that location needs to be mentioned. Along with that, you need to mention the arguments. Arguments means where your output file is going to be stored. When after processing this particular job, the output file which is being generated, where it has to be stored, that location needs to be mentioned. And lastly, you need to mention certain Spark properties in the submit job page. Once you had submitted, once you are ready with those things, you can start your job by clicking on submit job. And lastly, the jobs get into running portion and you are going to be given an ID for this particular job. That ID needs to be noted down. Once the job gets into running stage, then in the meanwhile, if you want to check the status, then how you are going to check the status? To check the status, you can click on the application UI, first identify the job run. You have to select which particular job is been running, you have to select that particular job. Once you had selected that job, you can select the framework in which it is been running, either those are going to be shown, it is running in a Spark UI or Hive Tez UI. You have to select the appropriate UI. Once you had selected the appropriate option, then you can get into the executors tab, which is mentioned on the page of UI. Once you are on the executors tab, just check the you can check the status of how much job has been running. Once the job gets completed, then it is a stage where you need to clean up. Basically, it will auto stop after 15 minutes, as I told you the activity. If the activity is inactive, then it will stop the resources and it will release the resources. In case if you want to delete, then you can click on delete the application by navigating to list applications page. On the list applications page, you can select and delete the application which is inactive. And once you are going to onto the list applications, then first you need to stop the application. Then once the state has been changed to stop, then you can go to actions and delete the application. So these are the 4 steps which are going to be there if you are working with console of AWS serverless. Thank you.